Welcome back to Digital Dialogues, where we dive into the most satisfying tales of revenge from Reddit. In today's story, from r/ProRevenge, we meet an overworked employee who was forced to take matters into his own hands when his boss refused to pay him and took advantage of his hard work. Stick around to hear how this employee's clever payback left the boss regretting every shady decision. Last year, I started working for a local plumbing company that seemed promising, would pay top dollar to employees for good old-fashioned labor. So I signed my W-2 and went on my way. Seems legit, right? I started out making an hourly wage, was given my own work van, and was offered a work cell phone. However, if you used your personal cell phone, the owner of the company would pay your bill because you're using your own phone. How neat is that? Fast forward a month or two. I was forced to make commission based off of every job, and I didn't have a say in this. But 20% of every job you go to? Hell, that's a lot of money in plumbing. So I was none the wiser. Eventually, I found out that my paychecks weren't having any taxes taken out of them. So I asked my boss, why am I not having taxes taken out of my check? To which he replied, when we switched you to commission, you're a subcontractor now. You're 1099. You're gonna be making so much bank now, bro. Didn't sign a 1099 form, but okay. As the time went on, I started working 90-hour weeks with no break. If my phone was turned off and the office folk tried to reach me and couldn't, they would take money out of my paycheck. The phone bill never got paid. There would be days where I wouldn't make a single dime because the boss would mess something up in our system. We also had no heat in our vans, and when it got to 14 degrees outside, his words to us were, "Go buy a fudging blanket. I can't afford repairs like this right now," while he is in Florida on a cruise with his whole family. So like anyone else, I just up and quit. Fudge that. When I left, I asked for my checks. I was owed 3 of them for the weeks I worked, but my boss wasn't ready to give them up yet. "You fudged me over, and now I'm going to fudge you over," he said when I asked why he wasn't going to pay me. I offered multiple times for him to just meet me, so this wouldn't have to go any further. He refused. I took to R's legal advice, bless them, and asked what I should do. The responses led me to Lara, Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs, to file a wage claim to get my money. But on top of that, I filed a report with them, stating the company doesn't pull permits, which is required to do when replacing people's plumbing. So they sent over an investigator to check these claims out. I then went to the IRS to find out about this whole tax ordeal. I filed the proper paperwork to have the IRS check and see if I was misclassified as a 1099 employee when I should have been a W-2 employee since they weren't taking taxes out. Sure as shit, I was wrongfully not getting taxes taken out of my checks. So the IRS sent an investigator of their own. Now at this point, I see on my phone that I still have their email address linked to my Google account. So I do some snooping. It turns out they haven't paid city taxes in over 6 years, and that the office manager, a woman who has verbally abused me time and time again, collects disability through the state, but still collects a 1.5K paycheck from the company every week. You can bet ass I sent that in with the IRS. Screenshots included in my email. This is how it all unfolded. I have a friend that still works, or rather worked for them at the time, and he told me about the investigators coming in. Lara fined them upwards of $50,000 for failing to produce the proper permits for work that was performed. They also paid me what the company owed me, with interest, since I waited over a month for those checks. On top of all of this, the IRS made them pay for my taxes at the end of the year, took away the office manager's disability, audited them because they haven't paid city taxes, and fined them for each employee they did this to. At this time as well, all of his fleet vans broke due to wear and tear. This resulted in the company closing. When he asked me why I did all of this, my response was simply, "You fudged me over, so I fudged you over." I did sign a W-2, but they never gave me any tax forms at the end of the year and told me to fill out a 1099 instead of giving me my W-2. And that's a wrap on today's story of sweet, sweet payback. Thanks for tuning into Digital Dialogues, where karma always finds a way. If you enjoyed watching this boss get his just desserts, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more satisfying tales of revenge. After all, there's no shortage of people learning that you can't just mess around without getting messed up.